Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be reviewing two episodes from South Park Season 10 here. Episodes 12 and 13, which is a two-parter. And the episodes are called Go God Go, and then the second part is Go God Go 12, which I don't know why they called it that. But just looking at this season, I did that video, was it last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, showing off my South Park Blu-ray collection. And, well, here they are right there. I don't know if you can pause and read the synopsis right there. They both released in 2006. But this whole season here, Season 10, it's got some great episodes here, like when Chef dies, because this is right after the whole Tom Cruise in the closet thing, when they played World of Warcraft. And then this is actually from Go God Go right here. But, like I said, I did that video of the Blu-ray collection, last week or 2 weeks ago, I forget. But Justin left a comment asking me to review this particular episode. And then I realized it's a two-parter, so I said I gotta watch both episodes. So if any of you guys have other suggestions of more episodes for me to watch and review, feel free to leave them down below. But let's get to this episode. So anyway, it starts out with Cartman impatiently pacing back and forth outside an EV Games, not an EB Games or even a GameStop, as he has 3 weeks to go until the Nintendo Wii releases, which I should have done some research before this video to see if it's actually accurate to the release date, because this came out in November 2006. I do know the Wii did come out in 2006, but I wonder what the exact date was. That sounds about right, actually. Releasing right before Thanksgiving, and then people buying it for Christmas or whatever. But, he's pacing around, and his mother finds him and is like, "Oh, Eric, you have to go to school." "No, Mom, I can't wait. I gotta play the Nintendo Wii. Come on, man." In his Cartman voice. So then they're in school, and this is actually with Miss Garrison, who's the teacher, and right before class starts, she's called. Yeah, well, I guess we'll call her she. Miss Garrison, really Mr. Garrison, but you know the deal. And called in by the Principal Victoria, and Counselor Mackey, Mr. Mackey. Okay, and the principal says, "Okay, Miss Garrison, you got to teach the kids about evolution theory." And Mr. Garrison is just not having it. He's like, "Oh, come on, we can't teach that crap. That's not true." So the whole premise is sort of making fun of atheism and the evolution theory and stuff like that. So Mr. Garrison goes in there to teach the class and has this hilarious graph. It's like, "All right, kids, I got to teach you about evolution theory. We all know it's a theory. It's total BS. But here's the deal. One day, you were all just swimming around in the pond like a bunch of fish. But then the fish had a retard fish, which spawned a bunch of other retard babies. And then the one retard baby had a retarded, fin, which then crawled up into the ocean and was fucking this squirrel. And then the squirrel saw a monkey and started fucking a monkey, which created this. So you're all the offspring of a bunch of retarded fish frog monkeys." Just the way he delivers it is hilarious. And what happens is after he gives his whole spiel there, Cartman, who's spurging out, like waiting for his Wii, he's like, "I can't take it anymore," and gets up and just leaves the classroom. And, Mr. Garrison's like, I told you the kids weren't going to be able to handle it. So the next day he gets called into the principal's office. And the principal's yelling at Mr. Garrison, like, "Oh, you can't be teaching the kids in such a crude manner." And it's like, "Oh, it's retarded, you're teaching these kids filth." And so what happens is they get Richard Dawkins, which is a renowned atheist, has written a bunch of books, does public speaking events and stuff like that, to be the teacher. And Mr. Garrison's like, "I'm not going to listen to this faggot." So what happens is Richard Dawkins goes to class the next day and starts, giving the lecture about the evolution theory. And Mr. Garrison's like, "Oh, so we're gonna, the officer, you're a bunch of monkeys, huh? You know what monkeys do? You ever see them in the zoo? They just throw shit at each other." So Mr. Garrison takes down his pants and drops a dookie in his hand and throws it at Richard Dawkins. And then they get called into the office, and Richard Dawkins is like, "Oh, well, I don't mind because she's just a strong woman who likes to express her mind. I love it." And then at one point, I don't know if this happened before that whole lecture or afterward, but one of the parents came in there with their daughter and was like, "This is outrageous. We are a strong Catholic household. How dare you inject this filth into people's minds?" And Mr. Garrison's, "See, I told you they weren't going to have it." So, just great fun making fun of atheism, absolutely hilarious, and it's just crazy. So, Cartman, he's trying to like figure out how to pass the time for 3 weeks. There's this other scene where he's like tossing and turning in bed, and I know we've all experienced this before, where he looks at the time, it's like 2:15, and he's tossing and turning for what seems like, hours, and then he turns over, it's like 2:16, so then he goes downstairs, puts on the TV, I think he sees like Wii commercials and stuff, and then eventually goes back upstairs and it's like 2:20, so he decides he's going to freeze himself. And he puts himself inside of the freezer, of the refrigerator in his house. And his mother opens the door and sees him. He falls out. "Now, ma'am, put me back in there. I gotta freeze myself." "Eric, we're not having this." And she flips that at him. So eventually, he convinces Butters to take him to God knows where, in the middle of nowhere, just bury him in the snow. And Butters like, "Oh, gee willikers. You sure we could be doing this, Eric?" "Now, Butters, come on. We gotta do it." So he takes him over there. And, Butters does it reluctantly. And it's funny because Cartman's like, "Don't forget the spot. You got the tree over there, you got the boulder, you got the mountain. Come back for me, Butters." "Okay, Eric, gee willikers." Like how nervous old Butters is. And what happens, like immediately after Butters leaves, he's out of the frame, an avalanche comes down and traps Cartman there. And many years pass, right? We're in the year 2006, and it advances to 2546. So it sort of ends there, but also another scene, really, like I was laughing my ass off, but really a nasty ass scene, dude. Miss Garrison and Richard Dawkins go out to dinner, and basically Richard Dawkins talks about the flying spaghetti monster, which convinces Miss Garrison to be an atheist, and then they go back to Miss Garrison's place, and they get it on. And this is after Mr. Garrison had the sex change. I think it was like 2 seasons ago. So you see like her mangled tits like flopping around. It's disgusting, man. And she's screaming, "Oh yeah, I'm a monkey. I'm a monkey. Treat me like a monkey." And then the next day at class, Richard Dawkins is teaching some more. And Stan brings up, well, okay, evolution, the fish evolved and et cetera, but you can still believe in God, right? And then Mr. Garrison gets the triangle out. "Uh-oh, retard alert, class, we have a retard in the class." Oh my god. It's been so long since I watched this episode, dude. I was dying. It was absolutely hilarious. And so Cartman advances to the future, and basically he's like, "Where's my Nintendo Wii?" And they're like, "Kid, everyone you know is dead. Your family's dead. Your friends are dead. I don't care. Where's the Nintendo Wii?" So they come across the what are their names? You have the Allied Atheist Alliance, the what the fuck are their names? Like the Allied Atheist League and the United Atheists. They all have different names. There's like 3 different factions with different names, and it's sort of a parody of Buck Rogers, and they're all fighting each other. And as they're attacking each other, instead of saying like, "Oh, good God," they'll say like, great science," like, "I heckin' love science," and it's absolutely hilarious. They're all fighting each other. You have these different factions, like you have the Otters, you have just all these different groups. These guys with these crazy hats on and whatnot. And they all start blowing each other up, and basically you learn in the second part that they're fighting each other for the great question, which is the parody of religion. The whole thing is that because of the marriage between Richard Dawkins and Miss Garrison, everyone became an atheist. But the great and there were no more Christians, Catholics, Jews, Muslims, etc., Buddhists, and instead everyone's fighting over the name as to what they'll call the Atheist Alliance. And I found part 2 to be a little less funny than part 1. Like the first part was definitely more comical, but you also had scenes where they had like the crank prank phone, and you could call people into the past, and Cartman kept trying to call himself in the past, and he's like, "Fuck you, I know it's Ka, stop calling me," and he tries to call himself, he tells him to go F himself, then he tries to call Butters, and Butters like, "Oh, well, Eric, you're right over there, wait, Kyle, what are you calling it again?" Then he tries to call Kyle again, and Kyle doesn't listen, but eventually what happens is he calls Mr. Garrison while he's in the middle of getting it on with Richard Dawkins, and Richard Dawkins answers the phone, and he basically, Cartman keeps saying, I want to talk to Mr. Garrison. He's like, "Well, Mr. Garrison is gone. It's just Miss Garrison here. Mr. Garrison died." That's what Mr. Garrison told Richard Dawkins on their date. And, Cartman says, well, whatever the fuck she calls herself now, to have a sex change. And then Richard Dawkins finds out she had the sex change, so there's really Mr. Garrison. He's like, oh, I'm repulsed, and he like runs away. It's like, how can you not tell it was a man to begin with, dude? What the hell? So, eventually, with Cartman altering the past, is able to go back and, from calling everyone, and especially disrupting Mr. Garrison and Richard Dawkins. They never got married, so the atheist alliance never came to be, and they're able to send Cartman back. And also, there's a scene, too, of the elder of the Otters. They call him the Wise One, and he's trying to be the voice of reason, and sort of like says, well, you got the evolution, but you can sort of believe in God anyway. Kill him! And they kill the wise elder. But eventually Cartman goes back to time. However, before he froze himself, it was 3 weeks for the Nintendo Wii, and then he went back as like 90 days, and he's like, no! And then he gets a phone call like immediately after, like, I know it's longer, I know you're gonna wait 90 days now, but be patient because you're gonna really fuck up if you try to freeze yourself this time. And then Cartman hangs up, lick my balls, and hangs up, and that's how the episode ends. And it's just hilarious, dude. Old South Park is so good, man. I mentioned in that video when I was talking about my Blu-ray collection that, around the PC Principal arc, I stopped watching it just because I didn't think it was as funny. But the way that they pulled current events in here, like just looking at different things, like Chef, they had to kill off Chef because Isaac Hayes was threatened by the Scientologist cult to leave the show. Okay, Cartoon Wars, that's really made fun of Muhammad. A Million Little Fibers is the one with Tally and his drug addict. That was like a parody of Intervention when those shows were popular. Man Bear Pig with Al Gore, this is 2006. That's the episode with the guy, the dog whisperer. Warcraft was popular back in 2006. And the week coming out in 2006. So, very accurate at the times. Like, they always did a great job of taking current event topics and putting it into the episodes, and the humor still holds up extremely well. I was dying, especially during Mr. Garrison's explanation of evolution with the retarded fish frog. Absolutely hilarious. So, thanks, Justin, for recommending this. If you guys want to see any more South Park reviews, feel free to leave me comments down below. I am going to review the Woodland Critters Christmas one for Christmas, which that might be like sacrilegious to post it on Christmas Day, but I am anyway. So I'm going to review that one. Tomorrow I have a review of another Fairy Tale volume. The next day I'm going to post my Digimon Ghost Game review. And then I also have another Christmas special that I'm going to watch and record for you guys for Christmas Eve. So stay tuned for that. So thanks everyone for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.